The fifth line landed softer than the others. That was what made it lethal. We were standing in the kitchen. Late. The light above the sink flickered, like it always did when the house was too quiet. She wasn't crying. She wasn't angry. She was tired. Honest in the way people are only honest when they think the damage is already done. I don't know if I ever loved you the way you needed. 5 lines, spoken across 1 week. That was the last. I remember the sound of the refrigerator humming, the smell of soap on her hands, the way she didn't look at me when she said it, like she was reading a conclusion. She'd reached long before I was allowed into the room. Something shifted inside me then. Not pain, alignment. I nodded, said nothing. Let her go to bed believing she'd finally said the thing that would break me. She didn't know I'd already broken quietly and started rebuilding. The first line came days earlier. Casual, almost careless. I didn't tell you because I didn't think it mattered. That sentence doesn't belong in a marriage. The second followed the next night. You're overthinking it. A classic. A soft dismissal wrapped in patience. The third came over dinner, eyes locked on her phone. He's just someone I talk to. Not a name. Not a denial. Just a downgrade of importance. By the fourth, my chest felt hollow. I stayed because it was easier. That one sat with me. I replayed it while brushing my teeth, while driving, while lying beside her as she slept. One hand curled protectively around a device that never left her side anymore. I didn't ask questions. Questions give people time to rehearse lies. Instead, I watched. I noticed how her smiles stopped reaching her eyes when I entered a room. How she angled her screen away without thinking. How she laughed differently, lighter, when a message arrived at night. I began to understand that betrayal doesn't announce itself. It leaks. I became observant, surgical. I memorized patterns, timings, excuses, the gym runs that never involve sweat, the work calls taken in the car. The password change she forgot to mention. I didn't check her phone right away. That would have been emotional. I waited until behavior hardened into habit. Phone records don't lie. They don't explain either. They simply repeat what happened until the truth becomes boring in its consistency. Same number, same hours, same pauses. I read their messages days later, sitting alone in my car while rain tapped the windshield like punctuation. They didn't talk about love. They talked about escape, about how misunderstood she felt, how trapped, how I was good but not enough. I closed the app, sat there longer than necessary. The rage came and went like a fever. What stayed was clarity. The confirmation arrived in a thin envelope 2 days later. Black ink, clinical language, no drama. Evidence doesn't shout. It whispers. I laid the papers on the table that night. Not stacked, not aggressive, just present. She noticed immediately. What's that? I didn't look up. Read it. Her face drained slowly, like someone watching a tide recede too far to ignore. She tried denial first, weak, unconvincing, then confusion, then tears. I didn't mean for it to happen. I finally met her eyes. That's the difference, I said. I meant for this. She shook. Asked how long, asked why I didn't say anything sooner. I folded the paper once, cleanly, because I wanted to hear all 5 lines. The surprise wasn't loud. It was precise. The next evening, we hosted dinner. Her parents, our friends, him. She froze when she saw him step through the door, confusion flickering into terror when she realized I wasn't confused at all. I waited until dessert. Then I stood. I just wanted to thank everyone for coming, I said calmly, and to clear something up. I slid a copy of the messages across the table. Not to her. To him. Silence thickened, heavy, suffocating. Her voice cracked. Please. I smiled without warmth. This is the part where you realize, I said, that control isn't about shouting. It's about timing. I put my ring on the table and walked out. A week later, the house was empty. My phone was quiet. I felt no triumph, no grief, just space. Some truths don't need revenge. They need exposure, and some goodbyes aren't said out loud. They're designed, executed, and left behind like a final line the other person can never unread.